back to the Marshall's report, Elvis Marshall report, and you are watching my math channel. Our last session, we were dealing with simple one-step equations, pandas, and I explained to you what is called pandas. It's really called order of operation. We know pandas is actually PEN. The P stands for parentheses, and the E stands for exponent. And an exponent is similar when you have a number, a very small number, or digit rather, outside what would be called the efficient, the coefficient, and you're asking to square that number. But today what we are doing, going to be working with positive and negative numbers. And that's basic equation. So we have multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. So what I'm asking you to remember or to do is to add 2 times 8, 16. It may seem simple, but remember we are working with positive and negative numbers. So I started off with 2 positive numbers. Now we don't have to put a sign to prove that they are positive numbers. It's just 8 and 2. 8 is positive. 2 is positive. We don't even have to use the word positive because it's really a whole number. But if we see it like this one, negative 2 times negative 8, always remember, if you multiply a negative number by a negative number, you end up with a positive answer. That's the rules of when you're adding negative and positive number. So here you have, would be 2 times negative 8, 16, but notice right here, the answer would be negative 16. If you multiply a positive number by a negative number, then the answer must be positive. But you have to be careful. Now, normally rule of thumb, when a number is positive and you multiply it, you always notice that the 8 is the bigger number. So sometimes you have to use the sign of the bigger number. But technically, this itself explains once you multiply a positive number by a negative number, the answer would always be positive. So you must, because there's only negative and positive signs. Notice you have both of these numbers negative. You have a positive sign. You have a negative and a positive sign. A negative and a positive number, the answer is negative. But if you come down here, you notice I have multiplication, then division. So I want to follow that line and keep you in the same sequence. Notice I'm asking you now here to divide 4 into 16. 16 divided by 4 is 4. But as again, like here, it's just basic numbers. We don't have to say 16 is positive. Because once it's not a negative number, it's already positive. You don't have to keep saying it's positive. But here, again, now, if you look right here, right, you can see 16 is negative. 4 is negative. So it doesn't matter once you divide in a number, 4 into 16 is 4, but the answer is always positive. You have a negative, 2 negative numbers. So what's yours going to be a negative and a positive number? The answer would be positive though. But if you have 2 negative numbers dividing, you have a negative answer. Same thing over here, if you're adding, you have, implies that this is 8 and 2 is 10. But if you have negative 8 plus negative 2, it becomes negative 10. Also, if you have 8, negative 8 and 2, you will still have positive 10. Because with this is a little different. You always add back negative sign that reflects the bigger number. Let me show you from a different point of view. Let's say you owed me $8. And you say to me, okay, I'll pay you 2. So you're subtracting the 2 from the 8, you still owe me 6. But the negative implies that you owe me, which means, let's say you had the 2. You have nothing, you have but negative 8. But now you give me the 2. 2 from 8 is 6. But you still owe me 6. It's not complicated, very basic. But here now you have negative 2 times 8 would be also a positive 6. Because let's see it again. You have $8. You owe me 2. You subtract the 2 would be 6. So you already have $6. You understand? Now, this is subtraction. Now let's say you don't have no money, but you owe me 7. And you want to come and give me 7. You still don't have 3. You owe me 10. You give me 7. You still owe me 3. So if you really understand it, basically adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing positive or negative numbers, it just goes by the rules that anytime you multiply 2 positive numbers, you get a negative answer, a positive answer. Once you have multiply a negative number by a negative number by a positive number, you end up with a negative answer. So you can look at this, and I'm going to take you further because this is just an introduction to this particular side of positive and negative. You see, what you're working here with signs, right? Multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. But we're talking about numbers. You know, let's do this on the next thing. I'm going to give you the next module. So the next one that you will see after this would actually give you what I'm going to talk to you about.